Ahrens here. Today I'm going to be talking about ASSA. I was asked to do this video by Siri. Siri asked me months and months ago, and I hadn't got around to it, so I'm finally making time to do this video on different ASSA locks that I have and little information that I know about. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of ASSA. ASSA locks are a Sweden lock. In 1881, August Steinman, I guess that's how you say that, August Steinman, I guess like invented ASSA or whatever in 1881. The name ASSA, A-S-S-A, come from his wife embroidered a pillow with his name, August Steinman, August. So they just took the first letter of his name and made it into ASSA, ASSA. I thought that was pretty neat. 1881, basically, I think they was making pins and I guess they was making locks too. I'm not real sure, but I know they was making like pins and lock equipment and things. But in 1981, the 100th year anniversary, they come up with the ASSA Twin 6000. This come out in 1981. In 1994, ASSA bought Abloy, which become what we know today as ASSA Abloy. So they, excuse me, they joined teams, and so that's what we have today. Just a little brief history lesson on that. Some information I found that I thought was kind of interesting. But let's talk about kind of the patent life of the locks. Like I said, in 1981, they celebrated 100-year anniversary with this lock right here. Now the patent life that I found says 1982 to 1999. Now, I don't know if maybe a patent takes a year or something, but they come up with a lock in 1981, but the patent started in 1982. Ended in 1999. So they needed to kind of extend the patent on this lock, so they made a twin exclusive, which I don't have one, but I think it's basically the same. I think probably the keyway is different, just to kind of extend the patent from 2000 to 2014. So in 2014, I guess that patent expired on the exclusive. Then they went to, let's see, which one's next? The V10. The V10's patent was from 1993 to 2014. Then they also come up with the Twin Maximum. I don't have a maximum. It was from 2006 to 2014. The Maximum Plus, which I think it's the newest one, it was from 2012 to 2029. And the Combi right here was, I think it started in 1991. I don't know when the patent ends, but 1991 was the Combi. So just a little interesting thing of you know, the ages. That's not the Combi. This is the Combi. This is the Combi here. That was the D12. But just a little information on you know, kind of the years they was done up, and give you some guideline on that. First, I want to talk about the 700s. Now these are the 100. I only have 700s. I don't have the 5 or 6. Now the difference in 5, 6, 700, I get asked a lot, is just the pin number. You can look up here. If it's got 7 pins, it's a 700. If it's got 6 pins, a 600. 5 pins, it's a 500. So this SCD was some kind of, I forget exactly what that stood for now, dang it. So, something to do with the drill protection. Shows that it has the drill protection, which is in this lock. The drill protection is in these holes here on the sides. This one, the drill protections are going to be here. So the SCD just shows that it has drill protection, is basically what that is. Alright, I got two 700s here. We'll talk about the pins, different pins that they have. The standard driver pin. See if I can zoom in on this. There we go. Standard driver pin has the bevel on the end there. That bevel, when you try to pick it, let's see if I can get a plug out of here. When you pick that bevel, what ends up happening is as you pick it, it gets caught in that bevel. So you may have to pick this pin 2 or 3 times, because you may pick it up to here and get a movement on the core. Then you'll have to pick this pin up to here and go back and finish this pin up to finish this pin up. So the bevel works really well in the standard drivers. The next pin you will come across is the single spool. We like to call them gin bottle spools, a lot of us. You just got that one little spool on the end, which is perfect in the counter milling to catch that counter milling to hang on. You can see that counter milling hanging on so tight that it'll hold the weight of the plug. A very good counter milling right there. That is what we call, most of us call gin bottle spools. Then you have the double spool. Let me get one. This is the double spool pin. These are monsters here. What you end up doing is slipping into like a shallow faucet, then you'll go into the deep faucet for that other spool to catch. These are a monster. I have yet to pick these pins. I haven't figured out a way to pick those. As far as drivers, you just have either standard drivers or you have the torpedo type drivers. Beautiful little pins there. I like those. So those are the pins that I find are most common. Zoom the other way. There we go. In the 700. And the counter milling that you're going to find 2 types of counter milling in ASSA. You're going to find this single, find a pick, this single deep counter milling right here. This is kind of the older style counter milling. Very good counter milling. I'll talk about the newer style here in a bit. And like I said, you have the drill protection that are here. Pins go into those holes there. Then this one, this is the only one I've seen. I've seen them before in videos, but this one I have my hands on. This is a little different plug. It has a sleeve over it. Notice the oblong shape of these cuts here. I know there's some wear on some of these, and I noticed the wear on them are those that had the spools in the chambers. This one and this one had standard pins, so the wear isn't as much. So I think this is as close to what the original cut would look like. And you notice this is super deep. Look how much deeper that is when that pick goes in there. See if I can get a pin. There we go. And this stuff here, if you notice, it fits perfectly down in there. Now, I have yet to pick this lock. This is mean. You get into this, you're in this deep faucet, you're there. You're not getting out of that. There's no way, because the thin part of that spool fits into that notch, and I mean it's tight. It's there. So that one is really interesting. The only one I have like that. I really like this one. That's all I got for the 700, I believe. Like I said, they're just 7 pins, so you know I get a lot of questions on that. Now let's move on to the next, the 6000, since it is the oldest lock, I guess. The oldest lock, but still probably one of the most secure. This thing is a beast. All right, in the 6000, like I said, you got the single deep counter milling in the 6000. You have the side pin, side bar will go in here, and side pins. All right, if you want to see one gutted and how it works, you can check out some of my other videos when I pick them, or some other pickers. There's several good pickers that are knocking these things out now. But where the tweezers go, like I said, in the 6000, I have the gin bottle spools, and if you notice, these are slightly different than, where'd that go, than the ones in the 700. See, the ends are just slightly different, so I'm not sure why that is. This one come out of that one with the sleeves, so they may be specifically designed for that sleeve to have more of that beveled edge there. I'm not exactly sure on that, but there's the gin spool for the 6000. And then the 6000 has, this is what makes so different, all this is the side pin for the side bar, and all the true gates are in the center. You see that cut there in the center, and then you have these false gates, 2 on top and 2 on bottom, and they fit into the side bar. So if I can hold this stuff, okay, if you get into a false gate, you're not going to go anywhere. You got to get it down into that true gate so it falls down into it. The cuts on the sidebar is what makes the difference. You can see the different heights. So they don't cut the pins, they cut the sidebar to match the pins. You know, to cut the sidebar for the pin heights, and that's where they get the pin heights. Cut the sidebar to match your key heights. So, and it's kind of rounded bottom there. It'll fit right into that rounded cut on the key. Then it went to, well, the exclusive was next. I don't have the exclusive. Yeah, exclusive was next. Don't have that. Let's go to the V10. I guess I should have put those together. Now, V10 is also called a Twin 2 or a Twin Global. I do have a Twin Global. This is the only global that I have ever seen. This is the newer counter milling. You have the double, and this isn't a serration like we do challenge locks with the tap. These are counter millings. They are straight across, 2 rings straight across. They work perfect for, let me find a long one, the new ASSA pin. These are the new ASSA pins, the barrel pins, and they fit perfectly into those little counter millings. That lip right there fits perfect into that counter milling to catch. Now, if you have a lock with this counter milling and you put a gin bottle spool in there, you're not going to make a difference. This pin is not designed for it. I mean, you may get a little catch out of it, but it's not designed for it. These pins are designed for the single counter milling. That's what those need to be in. These barrel pins are designed for this counter milling. That's what they need to be in. You put these barrel pins into the single counter milling, you're defeating the purpose. You're just making the lock. It's just easier to open. The V10 is here. Now the V10, the side pins are, let's see, this V10 here. Side pins are a little different. The V10 ends up, if you can see, these things have two small cuts right here. One cut here, one cut here. But they're on the same heights. Now they can make these, so that one may be slightly shorter than this one. But that's where they get the 10 from on the V10. You have 5 pins, but you have 10 cuts, 2 for each one. And I think it's like a key control thing, or like a master keying system or something, because then it could fit here or it could fit here. I don't know if that turns around. No, it won't turn around. Yeah, it'll just fit. It just depends on the height. But that's where they get that 10 from on there. Now let's see, the V10, if you notice, this is the newest kind of counter milling. It's just very light serrations here. The false gates are very, very light. And that makes it really tough to find out if you're in, it's hard to tell the difference in this cut and this cut. It's just so light. Very small touches on that. The Global had I think these are the older cuts here. They're basically the same pin. These were the older design, and then they upgraded to the newer design. This older, you see, you just have a couple of slits for the false gates. They don't have the full ring all the way around. So those are the older style. Basically the same thing though. V10, same thing, sidebar. The plugs are basically going to be the same. Beautiful little design. They just mainly changed the pins and the keys. The keyway is completely different. You have this sharper keyway here. Then let's see, which one did they go from there? V10 was the Pro, I don't have, and then went to the Maximum, which I don't have. So the Combi was done in 1991. So here is a Combi right there. Now the Combi is completely different. There's the side cuts. And if you notice, they're kind of, let's see if I can see that. I don't know if you can really tell, but they're going to be off a little bit because these pins rotate left to right. So I don't know if we can make that out. But depending on where it hits at, if it makes the pin rotate. Because these pins not only go up and down like the others, they also rotate left or right. Not sure exactly how that fits in there, but that's what we got. Now the other difference in the Combi is the sidebar is the same. It doesn't have the cuts into the sidebar. The pins are different. The pin cuts are going to be different heights. The sidebar also has these small serrations here, right here and right here. These little serrations catch onto the serrations of the pin. You see these serrations here. So it catches onto that. So as you're rotating, you're constantly getting a click. You got to get past that counter milling to rotate it as well. And again, the combi has the new counter milling and the new ASSA barrel spools. So that's the difference in the combi. So they did upgrade it to make it a little more challenging. The next one that I have is the D12. This is the last one that I have in my collection here. I'm still working on a collection. The D12 is freaking amazing. That keyway is awesome. And that's where they get the D from. It looks like a D. And the 12 comes from the cut on the key, because kind of like the V10, you have two cuts per pin. You have this cut, which matches, this is the right cut, or you have this cut. So it's kind of a, I guess, a master keying system here. And you know, you have you have 6 pins, 2 cuts per pin, so 12 cuts. That's where D12 comes from. I'll show you that here. Put that in here. If we put it in the right way, it's, oh, that's wrong. This one. I'll get it right in a minute. There we go. If we put it in the right way, it's flush with the line, with the shear line. If you put it in the wrong way, which would be kind of a master key system, now it's above shear line. So you could have, you know, 2 different cut keys there to make it work. Let's see. Oh, the pins also, they kept the drivers the same. The key pins are all different. The key pins also have these wings right here, and they have slots right there, so it'll fit, and it doesn't, that way it doesn't spin on you like the Medico or whatever that other one is. I can't think the name of it now, but anyway, Amhart. But anyway, D12. This one has eluded my picking as well because of this right here. This right here keeps me from picking it. This is pin 4, and this is pin 5. They put a high pin in 4, a very low pin in 5. And if you stick a pick in here, and you can set 4, you go back here to 5 and you try to set 5, you can get it up. Let me find it. Get back down in there. Oh, there you go. I can get it up, but you see 4 is completely overset. So I got to figure out, I'm going to have to make a tool to pick this thing, but that makes it, I can get everything but that pin. That one pin is the only one I can't pick on this lock. But that's what I got for my ASSA line. About 25 minutes on this video, but I hope that clarifies any questions somebody might have about ASSA. If you got any more questions, you know, I'm trying to clarify some of the things that I've heard about ASSA that may be wrong or misunderstood, and that way people know what they're looking at when they're looking at an ASSA and what they have to deal with. Because ASSA is extremely amazing lock. Probably one of the toughest locks that I've come across. not unpickable. They're pickable, but they're tough. And that's a different brand or different ones that I have. Hopefully I can expand my collection, do another video sometime in the future, and get some more locks. But that's what I got. So this video is for you, Suri, because you asked me months ago, and I apologize that I'm just now getting around to it. But here it is. Any questions, let me know. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Be legal. God bless.